The Megane Range Rover Webuyanycar saga continues. And for those who missed the last video, we had a blue Renault Megane, we've now got a silver Range Rover. Go and watch the other videos because it's going to take me ages to try and explain exactly what that was all about. But a long story short, I'm trying to make money. I bought a Megane for £400, I spent £190 on it and sold it for 300 quid. So things are not going well. Luckily, however, the first video made £1,000, which meant that even though I sold the car at a loss, I am actually up, which is great news. And that meant I could buy this beast for 800 quid. But a V8 Range Rover for that money obviously doesn't come without any issues. And this particular one has a broken front airbag, although it looks okay there because it's been running and it's lifted itself up. Completely rotten rear quarters, no MOT, and we're about to find out what else is wrong with it.
Now, cosmetically, we already know that there's issues with the Range Rover, but I want to see if there's anything mechanically wrong with it as well.
Now, although there are no engine management lights on the dash, Evil GT have bought this car, so chances are there'll be something wrong with it. As you can probably tell by my breath, it's absolutely freezing, so excuse the hood up, hat on, it is Baltic. So I've got my top-on machine here. I'm just going to plug this in and see what it has to say. Now, there are absolutely hundreds of different makes and models in this. It does have an auto search function. I'm just going to choose Land Rover anyway. Land Rover, automatically search. It's got the VIN number through. It knows it's a 4.4 litre V8. Let's look at a health report. Wow, that's fast. I've used loads of little Bluetooth dongle devices before, you know, that connect through your app on your phone, and that would have taken absolutely ages. So let's see what the engine control module's got to say for itself. Coolant temperature below thermostat regulating temperature. Now, there's one thing I've noticed with this car, sort of tooling it around a little bit and leaving it ticking over. It takes an age to get up to temperature. It says it's an intermittent fault. Again, that's really handy to know, and most OBD2 readers don't actually give you that information either. Clear that fault memory. This is so fast. So now let's have a look in the TCM transmission control unit, or control module I should say. Read fault codes. Lost communication with instrument cluster control module. That's a permanent fault, it's saying. Absolutely no idea what that means. So that's now all green. I don't know if you could be able to see this, but that now is green for the ECM, green for the TCM, green for the supplemental inflatable restraint system, SRS. I'm assuming that's airbags, it's got to be on it. Airbags and seatbelts, that's like the safety system. And the mad thing is, this is so cheap, this thing. It's cabled, wired in, so you haven't got to start messing about with Bluetooth stuff. This topped-on RT Diag 600S is absolutely brilliant. If you already use like a Bluetooth dongle with your phone, this definitely takes that functionality to a whole different level. If you want to start doing more jobs on your car, more in-depth jobs, more details, then make sure you check out the link in the description below and, well, go and get yours, because this is, quite frankly, brilliant.
For those who don't know, this particular car, from 2005-2006, there was a changeover from a BMW V8 to a Jag V8. And this is the first time of us looking underneath the bonnet, so we were intrigued to know which one it was. For you professionals, you'll know straight away just by looking at that which one it is. But whoever sold it to me thought they'd make it quite clear. Unfortunately, the engine itself seems to be running sweetly. So let's get it up and find out what else is wrong with it. I'd say that's loose. This one, is this one Brock as well? Okay, that's got quite a lot of play in it up there. That doesn't look good. So these two lower arms definitely need replacing.
It will have played it that way anyway, it's just the bushes.
Oh, the bush, well, yeah, I don't know if the camera can see up there, but the bush is cracked inside that arm. Same story driver's side. Otherwise, it doesn't look that bad. This is all dry, which is good news. Everything else back here. This the transfer box, I'm guessing. This bit here, I don't know what I'm looking at, to be honest, but that all looks dry.
Because you had one of these on.
Well, okay, yeah, it was heavy, I remember that. Everything looks sound. Obviously, there's uneven wear on this because there's wear on the inner edge and the outer edge. So what does that tell us, Ash?
Underinflated.
Otherwise, though, the back end of this car looks okay. It's like the complete opposite of the Ford Focus. But before we start on any of them other bits, we need to get this front strut sorted. This is giving me Megane vibes all over again. Oh, that's not good. Let's have a look back here. Okay, I would say that the traplet end and that lower arm there, the front lower arm, air goosed. We've given this a good spray and can't find any obvious leaks anywhere. And obviously there's weight on it now from the jack, so we're pushing this up, which would push the air out of the bag. So we've spoken to a guy who knows Range Rovers really well, and he said it's pretty much guaranteed to be the bag, but I've said it a few times, rather than going for the things that's going to be the hardest, we're just going to check the compressor, because it's easy to get to. We'll give it a spray and make sure there's no leaks coming from that.
Rather than go to what it is, we'll just waste Ash's time.
Well, there's no prizes for guessing who was right. I just knew that if we hadn't checked the compressor in the boot, it would have been something to do with that after a load of messing about with that suspension strut. I probably could have done a 30-minute video on just trying to get these arms off. Wow, they put up a good fight. I very nearly gave up. The drop link's completely seized solid. The thread spins while you're trying to undo the bolt, so there's only one answer for that. We found one of the culprits. There's two actually, I think there's another one there. Well, there's a few holes in it anyway, put it that way. Here's what I prepared earlier, a used new strut, and you can see they've completely snapped off the connector. That should look like that. And it's not even like I can take that off there to put it onto this one, because this hose is like heat shrunk onto the plastic pipe connector piece, which I'm assuming is the other end of that. So I need another new used strut. Brilliant. Knowing that this needs a suspension strut airbag thing and the suspension arms, I set about trying to find a replacement. And thankfully I stumbled across this that come with the suspension, strut, bag and arms. And well, this doesn't look any better than the one we've got, but I'm assured it works perfectly fine. But that does mean that all of this needs to come off because I've got a hub on here. Luckily, Ash's mate Cole was here wiring up the Astra GTE and kindly offered to lend a hand holding the suspension strut up for Ash to bolt into position. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The new strut stroke airbag is in. Drop link, that's all connected. New trap rod end is connected up. But there's one thing that I spotted in this wheel arch that you guys may have spotted too. And this ties into a few of the comments I got in the last video of this car that was saying that the clocks look like they've been calibrated. And this could be an ex-police car. Now, annoyingly, I've got no paperwork to suggest that it is, but inside this wheel arch, there's an awful lot of cables and wires and connectors such as that aren't connected to anything or have been cut such as that. And that would probably tell me, what's this one here? Here's another one, look. That would probably tell me that once upon a time, these were to lights. Now I look at an ex-police car as a bit of a positive because you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but these things get an oil and filter change every 6 months at least. Although stuff like this has probably been driven hard, it's at least been looked after. And another thing I noticed while looking underneath here was that because this had dropped completely, the tyre had worn through the wheel arch lining and then through the filler hose neck into the washer bottle tank. So this cost me £6 off eBay. But whilst undoing everything, I dropped the caliper and that annoyingly snapped the pad wear sensor. So I've ordered a new one of them from VBT, cost me £9. Now, I know I'm supposed to knock these into this to stop this from undoing, but I'm gonna wait for Ash to get here later on. He can check all the work that I've done just in case for any reason I've cocked something up and this has to come back off. Because you know on this channel, I don't confess to being any kind of professional. I have no idea what I'm doing. I take the mic sometimes, but I am literally winging it. And chances are I have cocked something up. So Ash, who is a proper mechanic, can check all this over and make sure that I've done what I need to do. Everything's safe and sound, and then we can bang that in. He's literally been in the unit 5 minutes, and listen to this.
You always take a step back when I'm fucking here, you lazy bastard. Why have a dog and bite yourself, eh?
Exactly. Woof woof. Come on, soft lad.
So you've got a dog and biking yourself now?
Yeah. Shame the dog's a needy fucker. I'm sure most of you will know, but in order to pass its MOT, it can't have any sharp edges on it. And in the previous video, Ash put his foot through it and did that. And that means it's time to crack out the specially colour matched duct tape. This Jag V8 purrs. We've taken it out, driven it around a bit, and she's pumped up, looking good. Thank God that's sorted out. Hopefully the final thing to get this through its MOT is sorting out a new tyre. Now there's only one problem with this. I have absolutely no experience with bodywork whatsoever. And that was why I had to ask my friend Sean at First Class Motors in Newton, Le Willows, for his help to get this done because I wouldn't have a clue where to start. Cut to about 4 weeks later and you can see that the weather's changed somewhat, which actually I feel is a perfect opportunity to get in the Range Rover. This is exactly what these things are built for, and I'm picking it up from the body shop. It's been parked out the back because it's been here for a little while, and as we can see, I can see me reflection in them almost. Them rear quarters are brand spanking new. The car looks incredible. The only problem with that was the panels from eBay, each side cost me about £65 each, and Sean's just hit me with a bill of £1,000. So on top of £800 for the car, £90 for the suspension strut, £130 for the 2 rear quarter panels, and £1,000 to chop the old ones out, weld the new ones in, and paint everything, this 4.4 litre V8 Range Rover stands me at just a smidge over £2,000. But it actually owes me more than that, because I had to hire the trailer, which was £70, plus the straps, which were £10. So that's another 80 quid on top of the £2,020. So that is a grand total of £2,100. But it now runs and drives mint. It's got 12 months MOT. I've had a quick look on Auto Trader and it doesn't look that bad. One thing is for definite, this should be a good time to try and sell a Range Rover, because we're about 2 inches snow, I'd say. Range Rover territory, that, innit? Now, the last time I checked Webuyanycar, this was around 1,200–1,300 quid. I had no idea that the rear quarters were going to cost me quite that much money, but they've done an amazing job, so I can't really complain at that at all. So what I'm going to do instead is have a little mooch about on Facebook Marketplace, on Auto Trader, places like that, to see if there are any other cars similar to this, similar mileage, similar age, obviously with the same engine, the 4.4 litre V8 engine, and have a look to see what they're going for. I definitely don't want this to hang around. I need this to be shifted quickly because I need the money back out of it. I am skint. But if one thing's for certain with this snow, this is definitely Range Rover territory. It's like trying to sell a convertible in summer, surely. The journey with the £800 Range Rover has been short but very sweet. I bought it with absolutely no MOT, a near side front suspension issue, completely rotten rear quarters, and a couple of other little niggly bits. But after sorting all of that, as well as giving her a good clean on the inside and out, she now looks incredible. And I've been daily in this car for a little while, because as you can see, it's cold, wet, miserable, there's salt all over the roads. I didn't want to drive the Focus around. And you know what? This, along with this one as well, that's ours too. They drive so well, these Range Rovers, really, really well. That one, I've got to say, is a much better car on fuel. That's a 3 litre diesel straight 6 BMW engine. That's obviously a 4.4 litre V8 Jag engine. That is cracking. Great car to drive, but yeah, it's heavy on juice. This car's got to be worth £3,500 of anyone's money, and it really. Listen. There's no bangs, knocks, creaks. 300 horsepower, 4.4 litre V8, comfortable, quiet, cruises along. If you're interested, at Evil GT Cars on Instagram, send me a DM and give me an offer. There are still loads of things I'd want to do to this car. Like, there's a little scratch on the bonnet I'd want to sort out, but you have to remember, it's like a £3,500–4 grand car. It's just, you've got to sort of draw the line somewhere and say, right, enough's enough now. Don't go spending any more money on it, because you're not going to see it back. And I've brought the Ranger down to get aligned at the one and only. Yes, Jamie. 4.4 litre V8 this, mate. 300 horsepower.
4-wheel skids.
4-wheel skids. Donuts.
Where are we going? Off-road?
Yeah, if you want. Go wherever you want, mate. Ignore the noises in the boot. They're just a load of wheels and tyres I've got to take to RADA. Jamie's already suggesting straight piping it. Unfortunately, I don't think the next prospective buyer would appreciate a really loud V8 Range Rover.
I do. 100%.
Do you approve, mate?
Yeah.
£3,500, it's yours.
Sold.
We're obviously awesome. They very kindly said that they would geo this for me. As I said, I've not touched the back. I don't want to do anything with the back anyway. It's the trap rod end, the near side, that I believe I've put on not quite right, and that's what's cocked my steering wheel up. So fingers crossed this is a 5-minute job for Jamie, because it is a Saturday and he should be able to get on with the rest of his weekend. Can you believe that Awesome, a VAG garage, they've got their own coffee, and it's £6.99 for a bag. So if you want some, come down, see Georgia or Lisa, who's a part-timer. She's not in today, is she?
She's not now.
Don't call her a part-timer,
Well
though, do you?
deserved rest.
There we go. So yeah, £6.99, awesome coffee. Webuyanycar is pretty boring. In a flash, we're done. That's it. She's straight. She's ready to go. And that concludes my time with the 4.4 litre V8 Range Rover. Thanks very much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, and make sure you tune in for the next video to see if I've got £3,500 for the Range Rover.